Good afternoon, everybody. Shavua Tov. Welcome to the Israel Brief. Yes, it's that time of the day where we look at the top stories making headlines in Israel. And we do this every Monday to Thursday right here on this channel on YouTube at the Israel Brief and on Facebook, posted on our Facebook page at Lottel Site. And join our growing community. We would love to chat to you every single day. But let's get into those top stories. And I cannot believe we are here again, deja vu, or maybe deja mu. We are the eve of our fourth election in under 2 years. Yes, tomorrow Israelis will head to the polls again to see whether or not we can vote in a government that's going to hold this time, a unity government, a government for the people, elected by all of us, and one that won't have us headed to the polls in a matter of months. So where are we standing? Where are the polls holding? At the moment, the party in the lead is Bibi Netanyahu's Likud party, followed quite closely by Yair Lapid's Yesh Atid. But, it's not always just about who wins the election, but who is able to form the coalition. And the man they call the kingmaker this time, Naftali Bennett, his Yamina party and their seats will be key to who can form a unity government. Lapid and Bennett have parred backwards and forwards today. Bennett saying that he will not enter into any Lapid-led government. Lapid downplaying that and saying we'll see what happens. So watch the horse trading begin as we head to the results, which should start coming in round about Wednesday, Thursday. Slight delays expected because of the COVID-19 pandemic. But also, where does our President Reuven Rivlin hold in this? The president has announced that he will take his time in asking a leader to form a unity government. The president is concerned about the amount of times that we've had to go to elections and that governments don't seem to be holding. But all that we can tell you is that we will be headed off. We are vaccinated. Now let's hope that we get a government situated firmly in place. In order to prepare for this, the Israeli police have deployed some 20,000 policemen all over the countries to make sure that elections go smoothly. There have been accounts of some Likud supporters harassing people who are not part of the party or supportive of other parties. There have also been reports of major gatherings that are anti-Netanyahu. But can the Teflon Prime Minister hold on to his place? Let's see what happens tomorrow. If you are playing election bingo, you might want to be careful where you hedge your bets or where you pick your numbers, because it is estimated that we could be at a deadlock. And this is just a reminder that the Israel Brief is non-partisan. We do not endorse or support any particular party. However, we will present you the headlines as we see them across the country and across all major news sources. In other news, Israel's IDF Defense Chief Aviv Kochavi has hit out at the ICC investigation, saying that they don't understand the rules of engagement and how we deal with terrorism and their tactics today. He has accused the ICC of looking at it from a very Western perspective. He has said that there's no understanding or little understanding of the tactics that terror organizations use. And this is in response to the letter that the ICC have announced that they will be pushing forward on their investigation of Israel and Hamas for alleged war crimes. The three areas that they have chosen to focus on are settlements, the 2014 Operation Protective Edge, or conflagration between Israel and our neighbors in Gaza, and the March of Return. Kochavi went on to explain that we're dealing with a situation here where terror groups use asymmetrical warfare. They use their civilian populations as human shields, hiding their weapons and firing their weapons from within their civilian populations, using their homes, their holy places, even their zoos and schools as munition storage facilities. And this really has changed the rules of engagement. And just to reiterate, not that the IDF chief has said this, but just to remind viewers that we did have a group of generals officials from various countries come to Israel shortly after Operation Protective Edge, and they all remarked on the incredible way that the IDF has performed and tried to protect civilian populations while still having to deal with a situation that other countries haven't had to encounter. And we really hope this will be food for thought for this investigation should it go forward. There is still the chance, with the change of chief prosecutors, that the ICC may not go forward with this investigation. And our last story stays in the Palestinian areas, and this time we're talking vaccines. The Palestinians have started their vaccine rollout in the West Bank, having received their COVAX vaccines, and yesterday President Mahmoud Abbas received his vaccine, and the rollout will begin with high-risk groups. Now, this is not forgetting the fact that Israel to date has inoculated over 105,000 Palestinians who hold legal permits to work in the country. And this comes as news is reported that Israel is starting to close down a major inoculation center because most people have been vaccinated. So those are the top stories making headlines. Just a reminder of all those important social media groups. We're on Facebook at Lottel's site. We are on YouTube at The Israel Brief. Click on that big red subscribe button. Our website is www.layoftheland.online, and our Twitter handle is at layoftheland5. So with today's edition of Erev Elections, again, I'm Rolene Marks, and we'll speak again on Election Day tomorrow.